So it's Lexx. Stop it. Lexx season 2, episode 4. Luv Liner.
Yep. This is an episode where I used clips of this in my review of Siege because Jeff Pastille, who was the main guest star in this, was in Siege. Siege obviously was directed and written by Paul Donovan, who is the creator of Lexx.
So let's get this right out of the way. Trigger warning.
This is like Lexx, the rape episode.
Although a really wonderful, very magical, very heartwarming thing happened. And that was that fucking little robot got raped by a guy. And that
a guy dressed like a Christmas tree.
He had some kind of electro something fetish. But, yeah, so I didn't like this episode much. I thought it was stupid, but well.
I like Luv Liner. I would put Luv Liner and Laugh Track as a really good solid two-parter. Laugh Track is the next one.
But it's on a different disc.
Yeah.
But so this episode should be called Take a Shot or Blue Balls, pretty much.
Because they go to a floating brothel, which it looks really great in the advertisement. The quality is terrible.
The advertisement looks like, it's like 2:30 in the morning and you have some cable channel on and it's about to switch over to paid advertisement. And you don't care because you've been on the internet so long, whatever. And it's got like those adverts for, like sex chat lines. But they look like they were filmed in like 1989 and they loop the same 30 seconds of saxophone over and over again.
Yeah, also looks like the sort of, in the old cinemas when you would have like this fine Chinese restaurant just 10 minutes from your theater. And the last bit with the name of the restaurant on the map was done separately, but everything else is just really generic and old, like 10 years out of date. It's like that, but for a brothel in space.
Episode of Monty Python where they're at the movies.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so they're lured to a brothel in space.
Well, hardly lured, they just saw the advertisement.
Well, they were lured by the advertisement did its job.
Luring suggests they were there for some nefarious purpose. No, the advertisement was there just to get people to come.
Well, but anyway. So they're like, yeah, we totally would like to have some sex, please. And the guy's like, how are you going to pay? And just like the medical episode, they're like, we'll see, yeah, we don't have any currency. And the guy's like, yeah, fuck off. So, of course, there was a small moon just ripe for the blowing up behind them. So Zev says, hey, you don't remember this because you were frozen, but when we needed to treat you at the evil medical center, we blew up a small planet, thus showing the people there how powerful the Lexx was and how easy it is a prize to take from us. And Stanley was like, okay.
Wait a sec. One of the villains there was bald, too.
Mm-hmm. So they blow up a small planet. The guy's like, yeah, come on down. It's for free. So they go down.
And it was Jeff Pastille! The guy in charge of the brothel was Jeff Pastille. He's the guy who's like, hand the homo over, turkey! In Siege, and then he's like constantly going like, ah! And then he gets electrocuted.
Lord.
I love Jeff Pastille. He's amazing. Yeah. He's a semi-regular in Lexx Season 3, and he turns up again in 4.
As the same guy?
Lexx Season 3 is set in the afterlife, so it's his reincarnation in hell. Well,
spoilers.
Due to a filing error of some sort, he ends up in heaven.
Okay.
But he shouldn't be there. But he ends up as a recurring character.
Shocker. So they each go to a brothel room, and nobody really gets what they want. They kind of do, except for they don't.
There's a cameo of a fat guy who is wearing like a Captain Kirk uniform and, begging a prostitute to give him a freebie because he has no money. And there's this guy wandering around wearing lots and lots. It looks like he's wearing the inside of like really fancy curtains, but he ends up with a bunch of sheep.
Yeah, so there's that. So 790's in this one room, and they keep showing like this little hologram that can show you what is there. They keep showing like a toaster and a blender and pliers.
And he starts screaming, Zev, 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 Zev.
That was
Zev,
great.
Zev.
So Zev like picks out a muscly guy, and he's like, hey, baby, how you doing? And she's like, I'm a virgin, okay? And he's like, whoa, put on the brakes there. I need to worship you from afar because I'm in love with you. And I didn't even have to get out the words straight, people, before she said, but you just met me 2 minutes ago. Take off your pants. And he's like, no, see, because... So that's happening, and so... Stanley, his choices are a really fat woman or guys. And he's like, this is an issue. And he's like, well, how about this? So they send in this other girl, and she's very flat. But Stanley's like, you're not what I wanted. And she seduces him, kind of. And he's like, okay, but you'll do.
Yeah, she seduces him with emotions.
Yeah.
And they become friends.
They do become friends. So everything's going well, and then you see the proprietor of this worthwhile establishment,
Jeff fucking Teal
double-crossed them and has called a mercenary and been like, hey, we can totally take this ship, because they said that no one is on board except for an assassin that I don't believe
obviously
exists.
no assassin on board.
But why did they wake Kai up? Did they not learn anything the last episode?
No, it's Lexx.
Or
They
two
never
episodes
forget.
ago? So this this mercenary comes and he has a disintegrating gun and he disintegrates.
It's a Imperial cluster type one.
Yeah, and he disintegrates.
They're really
the
funky.
guy.
They go like this, and
They
they
go
just go like that. It's like these things are supposed to be in hell to construct, because these things, they look like they will fall apart with nothing. But the actual impractical as it is design is pretty cool.
Yeah. So he kills the sheep guy. He just because he's there. He kills both of the prostitutes because why not? And he takes everybody back to Lexx.
I'm sinister German. I am really happy that I
It's like
have
a
this.
scar.
I'm very happy with my lot in life. I kill people and I rape them. This is great fun.
Yeah.
I am a happy assassin.
Well, so while he's going around collecting everybody, the proprietor of the establishment takes 790 and rapes him. I mean, there's no...
Yeah. The
spoilers trigger everything.
The proprietor has had so much
If you're
sex.
on Tumblr and if you're like a robot kid, you might want to skip ahead to the end of the episode.
He had so much sex in this sort of interspecies, intergalactic brothel. We were like with fish people and hairy people, hairy leopards.
He got like sexually jaded.
And gorilla man and stuff. So he's like, it's just none of it turns me on anymore. However, so now robots. So he dresses up as a Christmas tree and rapes 790. I used that footage in my Siege review to demonstrate
you should go watch it right now.
To demonstrate the great range of Jeff Pastile's acting.
So yeah,
which is everything from to right robot head.
It doesn't say that word. It says yeah. So yeah, so that happens. So then they have Stanley and Zev held hostage, and they make Stanley blow up the Luv Liner while. The bosses, the owners watch, and they're like, well, fuck. And the guy's like, I'm coming for you next, assholes.
Because he's pissed off at them.
Yeah, and the mercenary just wants to rape Zev, but he brings Kai's cryo chamber, and the guy's like, what are you doing? And he's like, don't you know who they are? This is the Lexx. They stole this shit from his shadow. And
his shadow?
His shadow?
His shadow.
Still not old. And this
guy's genre savvy.
Yeah, he is. He read the lore. He totally read the script. He's like, oh, and this is Kai, last of the Brunnen G, and he's an undead assassin, so we should probably kill him.
Yeah, he'll get out, if we keep this on board, he will eventually get out of it and kill the rest of us.
Which is accurate,
So then he's like, I'll get rid of him by throwing him into the sun, which will wake him up, and the sun will not actually kill him because...
he can reatomize.
Yeah, so this was... He was like, I'm totally genre savvy. I know exactly what's going on, and this is why I know what's going on. Now let me do something that's really stupid. That would only be done by someone who doesn't know what's going on.
Yep. So he tries to rape Zev, and then Zev remembers that she's a cluster lizard, but that only buys her a few minutes, and they're struggling again.
She beat the shit out of him, though.
Yeah, but he's laughing the whole time. And then he's throwing her off a balcony, because that's how this works, and so Stanley gets zapped by the other guy, who's like, resume course. He's like, no, Lexx, quick, go get Kai, and so... Kai breaks out of his cryopad like, I'm in space. So there that was.
How do I get into these things?
Yeah. He gets back on board and he saves Zev.
Living people.
I know, right? And Zev throws the other guy over the thing, and then everybody wins. And...
well, except Schlemmy.
Yeah, he doesn't win. He gets dropped off in like a little pod right to his bosses, which I'm sure will go well for him.
Through the boss's ceiling, so the boss is like, oh, how will I get revenge on Schlemmy for insulting me and showing me up in front of my friends and blowing up my brothel? It's like, hi guys, hey Schlemmy! Off screen he dies painfully and turns up then in season 3 in heaven because of an administrative error.
Spoilers?
It's not really a massive deal. He just turns up. He doesn't do anything important. It's just like, hey, Schlemmy's here, and the next he's with a new name and can't remember anything about his living life. He's just there in heaven. We just love Jeff Pastile. Yeah.
I didn't like this episode much. The only good part of it was one of the bosses at the end kind of looked like a guy I used to LARP with after college.
He looked like, what do you call him? Who played Otho in Beetlejuice?
A little bit. Yeah, he looked like a guy I used to LARP with. But I didn't really like this episode. It was just kind of, like, I don't know. So at the end, Stanley's like, says to Kai as they're putting him back to sleep in his cryopod, oh, well, next time I go to a brothel, I'm totally taking you for a bodyguard. He's like, yeah, I'm well suited to that, thanks. And Zev's like, I'm sorry, we were both kind of stupid. He's like, that's alright, you have needs to be seen too.
A vast virus database has been updated.
That's important
Virus
news.
database has been updated. But it just, no one got what they wanted, and 790 got raped, which made me happy, but probably made him
You got
very
what you
unhappy.
wanted. 790 got raped.
Yeah, but I wanted, like, Stanley and Zev to
Get
at least...
raped.
No, it was not. It's not rape because they were paying for it. No, that's not how it went. You know, they were both like, you know, we need to have sex with people. And
In like episode 9, Stanley will almost get raped by 790. It's okay.
It's just not
It's
good
coming.
But I was like, yeah.
Plus,
Also,
I
also the
guarantee
love satellite kind of looked like a Dalek a little.
It
bit,
did.
just saying.
penetrate,
No, ejaculate.
exterminate.
Exterminate. That's good. So there's totally going to be like horrible, dirty
Although, honey,
pictures of that tomorrow.
That one there, episode 7, Stan and Zev both managed to have sex in an unorthodox way.
Well, I hope it's fulfilling, I guess. You know,
Well,
as
it's Lexx, so
characters.
it's never done in a particularly normal way.
Nothing is ever happy and nobody ever wins. It's like that episode of the Doctor Who. Just this once, Rose. Everybody lives. No one gets to be happy.
Just
ever.
this once, Rose. No planets blow up for some reason.
There's always like conveniently a planet nearby. Conveniently a moon or a planet. It's like, you know, oh, we're pretty sure it's uninhabited, and just blow it up and find out. Yeah. So at least there were no potato hoes about. Get it? Because it's a brothel.
They
It's
should
a
have had
potato hoe.
Oh, they should have got a brothel, and they should have just created like a prostitute made of potatoes as a background joke. And it was, hey, look, it's a potato hoe.
That would have been expensive because you would have had to get the wire frame and like super glue potatoes to it.
Yeah, but it's a TV show.
Well, I'm just saying.
Just have it in the background.
These
of the
are
shot.
these are the same people that used the controller from an N64 as a prop.
Yeah, but they also did the very good zero-G effects in the ship, the potato hoe ship.
That's true. We were
That
talking about
was
the practical
we were
effects.
trying. It looked.
I said it was probably done with wires because they don't have the budget for actual zero G.
Yeah, it was probably like wires mixed with clever angles and lots of practice and stuff, but it did look good. It looked about,
convincing, yeah. I mean,
it looked about as good
It's very
as
good practical effects.
as Apollo 11, the film with Tom Hanks.
That was Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 11 was like the real one that went.
Yeah, well,
I mean, not to say that Apollo 13 didn't happen. It did, but there wasn't a movie about it. So
they used a vomit comet, but Lexx does not have
I
the money for a
really
vomit
want to go
comet,
on that,
so.
but I don't want to throw up. Like, I really want to be in zero G, but I don't want to puke ever.
But yeah, Lexx definitely doesn't have the budget for that.
No. Because that's like, don't you have to like clear out airspace for that?
Probably.
Yeah, that sounds expensive. I know the Mythbusters have been on it. That's all I know. But yeah, so that was Luv Liner, aka Dalek Blue Balls trigger warning, rapeness. So if you're on Tumblr, you should probably definitely not watch this episode. But if you've already watched it, well, sorry about that. So,
Jeff Bastille is also famous for being in Saw, one of the Saw movies. No, at least two of the Saw movies, and not dying.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he plays like a lawyer.
Very Canadian, this man. So if you ever see him at a convention, mention that time he fucked a robot.
He doesn't strike me as very Canadian. He strikes me as more of a like a guy who's really good at playing Italian Americans. But you know, skeezy Italian Americans.
We know he's a Canadian.
But yeah, he is a Canadian, but
secretly Canadian.
If I just saw him performing, I wouldn't have assumed he was Canadian. It's just because everything he's been in has been based in Canada. But I wouldn't have thought he was Canadian.
Well,
like Brian Downey, who plays Stan, clearly Canadian. While this guy, I would have thought he was
clearly Canadian. That used to be a kind of soft drink.
Yep.
Back in the
that was the joke. But yeah, Jeff Bastille, I would have put him as like an East Coaster, like New Jersey or something.
Yeah, well, Americans we know are. Of course, there'll probably somebody's gonna
New
comment.
Yorkers
Actually, he was born in Wisconsin, and then we'll be like, damn it. But so that's been us.
New Yorkers know each other.
I'm not a New Yorker, so that's been us. It's been X season 2, episode 4, and join us for the next episode.
The next episode, which is Laugh Track, which is another one I really love. This was Luv Liner was Jeff Hirschfield's script, his big one, which was just like, okay, we got the new Zev, we got that, all that stuff has been established. Let's give Jeff and all one episode each, just to do something silly before the main plot with Manfred comes back.
Okay.
So Jeff Hirschfield got Luv Liner, Lexx Jigaroff, my preferred writer of the three, gets laugh track, which is set on TV World.
Oh boy. I can't wait. Neither.
It's really fucking dark.
So we'll see you next week. Time. Whatever. Would you stop that? Give me that. That's why we can't have nice things.